There's the last pit. So far, the deck, it looks pretty good. It's got a good amount of milling. It just needs a little more stall cards, maybe a little more power. More feeling of dreads would have been nice, but I don't think I got any more than that one. Alright, so I opened this pack, and a quick look around. You always want to draft defensive creatures. So Mausoleum Guard is very good, and so is Chapel Guardian. I had a hard time picking over the two, but I like Mausoleum Guard. Again, it's good with that little, it's a human, so it's hard to deal, like hard to kill. If they attack, I get 2 more blockers, and if I have an Occultist out, that just means a lot more milling. So I really like Doom Travelers and Mausoleum Guards in this deck. They do well at stalling, and they block flyers after they die. This pack really didn't have too much. I'd take an Occultist, like I said. That guy in multiples is very good. 3 for 2/3 is a great blocker. And then again, I see another Occultist, but there's also Angel of Flight, Alabaster. This card's very good. I can also sometimes mill myself and get some spirits. I already drafted 2 spirits, so I don't know why that card went so late. 5 for a 4/4 that returns more flyers to your hands is very good. Yeah, I was very happy about that pick, actually. This pack has a few cards. Civilized Scholar, for one. Another Doom Traveler. The Guest Catcher's... I'm not sure what the full name of that card is, but it's not bad. It's just expensive. I ended up going with the Civilized Scholar. I wanted to try him out. I thought I knew what he did, but I found out Game 3, Round 3. I actually didn't know exactly how that card worked, and I misplayed a little bit with it, but it is a very good card in this deck. I wouldn't high pick it, but I'm fine with that pick. Another Doom Traveler wouldn't have been that great. And taking that 6 mana 4/5 that kills a flyer just seems a little high on the curve for me, so I'm fine with taking the Civilized Scholar. It worked pretty well. It would have been better if I actually realized the whole tapping and untapping, flipping part of it. I didn't really understand the other half, so I made a few mistakes with that card. But else than that, fine pick, fine card in the deck. This pick, there really wasn't anything for my deck. I ended up, I think, taking the Silver Chase Fox. It's a creature I could play, and it's also pretty good against me, so getting rid of that is fine. Nothing really to add to the deck. Just a fairly unimpressive pack for my deck. I thought about Corpse Lunge, but my creature count's very low. Rarely would it do more than 1 to 2 damage. It just seemed too situational, and it was off color, so I hate down a Fox. Now this pack, I see it's Sensory Deprivation. Now that card seems god-awful, but in this deck it's very good. It's low on the curve, so it helps deal with werewolves, and it just pretty much nullifies most creatures in the format. Now this pack is the one pack I kind of regret. I took another Bitterheart Witch and did end up playing 2. That was wrong. Either the Ghostly Possession or the One-Eyed Scarecrow would have been better. I'm not sure which one, Ghostly Possession or Scarecrow. I probably think Scarecrow, but I took the Witch. Here I get a Ghostly Possession. That card's pretty good in this deck. It's a little heavier than most of the removal, costing 3, but again, this deck plays subpar removal because it never has to attack. All it has to do is make sure they can attack you. This pack, I get another Sensory Deprivation. That card's very good in this deck. It slows down my opponent a lot, and even if it has to go on a big creature, it makes it small enough that my small creatures can deal with it. So yeah, I end up taking the Sensory Deprivation. I thought about the Eldar, but usually I might not even have another human for that to put counters on. It seems pretty good, but I like Sensory Deprivation there. This pack didn't have much. I just hate down a Naturalize. Like I said before, just getting rid of their hate for me. Now I get a late Occultist. This was in the pack that I took the Angel, and that's a pretty good pick for me. It's really good cards. It's Occultist in this deck. It's defensive and it helps mill. Yeah, irrelevant pick, basically. Yeah, the two creatures can't block card seems like the best against me, and obviously not the land. So yeah, I'm about to go into deck building. The deck wasn't very hard to build. I just thought of whether or not I needed to play black for the witches, and I was kind of high on the idea of playing the card. It just seemed like it was something I wanted to do, you know, play a blocker. When it dies, I get another tome out. But in all reality, it's just overcosted, and playing another color hurts you more often than it would help you. It's not worth splashing, I don't think. Maybe if you went with a blue-black decking theme deck, it could be viable, but it just didn't really do enough. I never got to play it, and there were some games where the black mana really hurt me when I wanted more blue. So, yeah, I'm about to go into deck building here. Alright, so the deck building begins. Get those Doom Travelers. Again, Feeling of Dread, that would have been a great card if I would have gotten more of. Again, the common thing for this deck is just play defense and deck your opponent. One tome is all you really need to win the game. Dream Twists help it out. If you get an early Go Color spell, it really helps in the late game. You mill just only a few flashback cards, and you get a lot of value out of your bell. Now there's the deck without. I think I'm missing a Sensory Deprivation right now. I add the Witches, just they're not that good. It probably would have been better off just playing the Silent Departure and no Witches. I think I even ended up playing 41 cards just to play those Witches. I really wanted to see how good that card was. And at this point, I remember thinking, what's one, why not play two? So I ended up running with 2 Witches and playing 41 cards with 17 lands. Again, not something I suggest. It was more of an experiment than anything for this particular deck. I remember I was thinking about that Sensory Deprivation. That card needs to be in the deck. It's very good. I took out Ghostly Possession. That probably should have stayed in, and so should have the Silent Departure and the Deprivation. And that would have been more ideal than the Bitterheart Witch. But yeah, I tank about building the deck for a while. End up adding, I think, 3 swamps, which just seems crazy, and it ended up hurting me more. I noticed that nothing in this deck required more than any of color mana, so I thought I'd be okay with the splash, but it did end up hurting me some turns when I wanted to play multiple blue cards in one turn. The curve's pretty low. Look at the number of 1-drops. So, yeah, there's the lands. And I will see you for round 1. I ended up, yeah, playing 41 cards, and that was the deck. I think I added another swamp after that point, but... Alright, well, I'll see you for round 1.